Hello and welcome. I made a video before about 5 add-ons that I recommend using during Classic Hardcore, and today I'm going to make another set of 5 that I think that are just as useful to use in Hardcore Classic. Some might be more useful than others, but I think they're all pretty good to have nonetheless. And again, I'll put them all in the description for those that are interested in grabbing themselves the add-on too. They're all free to use as well. So I'm going to start with what's training. Pretty popular one. I think most people know about this one, but it's very useful. So if you don't want to keep running back to your trainer to know what to train, so I think it can be quite annoying, time waste as well, stuff like that. Or you just want to know what's coming up in the future level, you can check all that stuff out. So basically, if you go to your spellbook, you'll have your regular tabs there, but you notice just at the very bottom, there's a what's training, or what can I train, should I say. So for me, coming soon, so that's in my next level, I will learn these at level 8. It tells you the cost as well, which I find pretty useful. So you can basically know how much you have to save up if you are quite low on money. Or you could just go to the coming. If you hover over coming soon, it would total it all up for you if you're interested in all of them. And for some reason, can't do the math. Sometimes math is hard. I understand. But you can scroll all the way down. It goes all the way to level 60. All the stuff that you can learn tells you what they do, all that kind of stuff. I just find it quite useful. Just because you don't want to keep running back and forth to a trainer, or you're waiting for a spell or an ability to use, but you're not quite sure when you're going to unlock it. So I find this quite useful in that way. Second one will be Atlas Loot, another popular one I would say, but not no people might not know about it. So basically, go to Atlas Loot. Being hardcore, you don't want to be risking yourself in a dungeon and you find out that dungeon at the end of it wasn't useful to you in any way possible. So that could be weapons, armor. Like you don't want to go into a dungeon, find out everything that drops is not for your class or something like that. Or it might not be that much of an upgrade to what you currently have. So it's just something useful to know. So if I go to say let's do Dead Mines, it has all of them on there. It also shows you the recommended level to be for those dungeons as well. So again, you want to be probably looking at these, you want to be on the closer to the higher level rather than just about the right level for the dungeon, just to be safe. So let's go to Dead Mines. You got the first boss, drops this, tells you what has the stats, shows you all of it, shows you what bosses drop them. You also can go down to trash mobs, and what they could possibly drop, which apparently is a pet. You can get yourself a parrot. Cookie, again, people know basically what he drops. But there's a bunch of stuff on there that I think is quite useful for hardcore. Because to say if you don't want any of this stuff, you're like, well, what's the point in risking a character for something you're never going to use? Deadmines is probably a bad example because I think it drops quite a well-rounded amount of loot, but there are some other dungeons that don't drop as much for your character as you would like to. We also have Classic Bestiary. I'm gonna have to go outside to show you this. I don't think anyone in here counts. Um, so basically, on hardcore, if you're new to WoW and for some reason jumped into hardcore because you like there's a bunch of hype for it, or you just like a challenge, or you're not new to WoW, but you're not quite sure what each mob does. So basically, if you hover over a mob at the bottom right there where the tooltip is, it will show them. So it says this bear has growl. So if you hold control, it'll give you details on what that ability itself does. And it does that for all dangerous mobs. And sometimes the friendly ones, you can kind of hover over them and it will tell you, like this one here, it has the shoot ability. Um, the ball charge tells you all that stuff there. So it's quite useful. So if there's a mob there, and you're like, well, I don't want to risk it. I don't know what this does. It could one shot me. Who knows? It's just it's a little safety thing. It's something that makes you feel a bit more comfortable going into a little 1v1 with a mob. Um, Next up we have is BlizzMove. Now this is one of the ones that I think is the least useful, but it's just something nice to have. So what it does is if you go to, let's say, Spellbook, but you don't like it over there, move it over here, have it in the middle, have it all the way on this. You can, like, basically you can move it around, do whatever you want with it. Um, I like it to keep it where it is, but there's some other things that I like to move around sometimes. Where if I'm looking at character stats, move that, any of it. It's basically anything you can basically like pop up, like a pop-up window, you can move. Except the what you can know. I didn't know that. I don't know how I did that. I was gonna say set the map, but you can move the map. It's very particular on where you grab it, apparently. Hey, I just learned something new with you guys. Ain't that great? But yeah, you can move the map as well, even. So it's not a game changer by any means, but it is what I would say a useful thing to use. And last, again, not a major thing, but is quite nice to have, is an add-on called Titan Panel. It's a very old school one, apparently. I wouldn't know. I didn't play WoW back in the day, but um, Titan Panel is very good. You can see it's at the very top of my screen. It shows. I currently have it to show my durability. It will also show you the cost of the durability. If you were to go to repair, it will show how much it will cost. The bags, my money. You can also have time to level and XP per hour this session that you've earned. Which I find if you're someone that likes speed leveling stuff like that, is something useful to have. But if you want more or you don't want as much, you can go to the options. So when you have it, it will look like let me just use one of my add-ons to move it. You can see. Um, so the transparency. Um, I have it set to 0. It will start out like this at the very top or somewhere near the top, where you had the big gray bar. I don't really like that, so I kind of have it transparent so I can. It feels like my screen's less cluttered. And now there's also plugins. You can download additional plugins. I think these are the ones that come with it, except Mail. I might have done that myself. I can't remember. But it shows stuff that I think for a hunter, preferably, you would like to see your ammo. So you can go to ammo, show plugin, and at the very top, it will show your bullets. I have 160 bullets. And I just realized it also shows you what kind of bullets it is. I've got light shot, my old blunderbuss. So that's pretty good. I never hovered over it. I just kind of looked at it, but now I know. Pretty good actually. We're both learning shit right now. Pretty cool. Um, you got stuff for Bagnon, which I'm pretty sure might be this, or it might just be bag. You got the clock, which I already have enabled. It's at the far right. You can barely see it, but it's there. Maybe move it. Oh, okay. Um, what else we got? We got a bunch of stuff on here. You got gold. I already have that up there. Loot types, performance you can have up there. So if I click that, it will show your ping, stuff like that, which I think might actually be quite good during hardcore. To say if you're lagging but you don't really feel it or notice it as much. Um, like today in my stream, I found out that I was lagging. I didn't have this. Probably should use it. Um, I was lagging actually, and I was trying to do the no pull quest in Westfall, and I was scared that I was gonna pull and not realize that I pulled too much because everything froze, and then it would pop back in with me surrounded by enemies because that was happening, but with only one or two mobs. So that's something pretty useful to have. I would say, especially for hardcore. If you know your connection's not great or the server's connection's not too great either. But there's a lot of options on here for you to go through and look at that I think will be very useful. Some might find it more useful, some may not. It's a preference thing, but it's there. Just, a little bit of comfort to know that stuff is right there underneath your fingertips. But those are the add-ons that have used for today's video. I still have a couple more. Maybe I'll make a third video, we'll see. Or if I discover more along the way, we'll see. But I hope it helped you out. If it did, let me know in the comments below. And if it did help, make sure to leave a like, big ol' thumbs up, and subscribe. I do live stream on YouTube now, and I also live stream on Kick and Twitch. I basically multi-stream, something I've started doing recently. So you always feel free to come and hang out when we are live, see all the shenanigans as it happens. I try to put some clips on YouTube as much as I can, but it's nothing like being there in the moment. Either way, I do appreciate you all for clicking on the video, sticking through till the end. You are all amazing. And if you do come to my streams, I'll see you then. If not, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope the video helped.